I choose materials in a very intuitive way, and it's actually basically if those materials are seductive to me, then I want to use them if they resonate with me. And of course, they're going to actually have the same effect on people. There is something very tactile always. There's several tendencies. There's, on the one hand, I like, these industrial constructed structures, and they always end up referring to architecture, and so they're very structured and very fabricated, if you like. I mean, there's recurring things that I use. Very often when I'm doing a residency in a place, or I'm working on an exhibition somewhere, I usually like to spend a lot of time there and actually spend my time going around markets and junk shops and trying to find things to work with. So I very often end up with either pieces of furniture that I transform in some kind of way. So they're sort of assisted ready-mades, if you like, or make these assemblage an environment with furniture like homebound, which is basically furniture that's all connected together with electric wires and having this electricity running through it and lighting up bulbs, and I amplified the sound of the electricity as well, so there's this kind of feeling of threat inside. I was saying that because I travel a lot and I work in so many different situations, often the only constant thing is notebooks. I don't use sketchbooks anymore. They're too heavy and they're too serious somehow. It's more notebooks. They can be spiral-bound notebooks, and that's what I use on a daily basis. Actually, I always have a small one that I carry in my purse, and then a larger one, like the ones there. Working on this vitrine, because I had to look through years and years of notebooks, that did not come without emotion, and sometimes looking back at certain situations where, and the way I was thinking about things at the time, it's quite difficult, it brings up so much emotion. But the main works in this exhibition are things that, of course, I still relate to, otherwise I wouldn't have them in the show. And I often look at some of the works, for instance, like Light Sentence, various works I've made, and I always feel like I could have extended that concept by making other works that with similar ideas, but in different form. And sometimes I feel like there's still room for a lot of development of each of the works that I somehow worked with and then abandoned this to go into something else. But I tend to work in this way because I tend to react to situations. I often make work in response to a space. So if I'm doing an exhibition in Mexico City, it sort of transports me into something totally different, and I'm very inspired by the culture there, the architecture, the space itself, the history of that space. So I end up, going into a totally different direction for that exhibition, and then the next exhibition can take me somewhere else. So that's why I often start something and I may not carry on with it, but then maybe years later I'll go back to the same idea. So nothing is a finished project, if you like. I feel like everything has possibilities of more experimentation or more pushing the ideas further.